Hello students and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In our last class we learned the respiration process in plants and respiration process in humans. Today in this video we are going to learn the next life processes, that is transportation. Transportation, that means to transport something from one place to other. Here in this case in multicellular organism, for taking the food, for exchanging the gases like O2 and CO2, and for removal the nitrogen containing waste material, we require a special transportation system. Why? Because in multicellular organism, not all cells are directly contact with the surrounding environment. So for this reason, we require a special transportation system. And for this transportation system, we also require a medium who help in a transportation system, who help in a transportation process. And that medium is blood. You already learned the blood in your 9th standard. Blood is a red color, liquid connective tissue. This blood consists by blood plasma and blood cells. Blood cells like RBC, WBC, platelets. Now what is the functions of blood plasma and cells? Blood plasma transport the food, carbon dioxide, salt and nitrogen containing waste, whereas the blood cells transport the oxygen. So for this some basic requirements are there. In that the first one is a pumping organ. We require a pumping organ, a network of tubes and a proper system. In multicellular organism, in humans, a main pumping organ is a heart. So what is the function of pumping organ? Pumping organ push the blood around the body. So let's study the structure of heart and its function. Here you can see the internal structure of heart. First of all, heart is a muscular pumping organ which push the blood around the body. The size of heart is as much as to our closed fist. Then its location. The heart is located in between the two lungs, but it's slightly towards the left side. Next point, heart has a 4-chamber. Why? Because the oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood are transporting through a heart. So, in order to prevent the mixing of oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood, our heart is a 4-chambered structure. Now, out of this 4-chamber, the first 2 chamber is called as atria. The right one is called as a right atrium and the left one is called as a left atria. The wall of atria is thin. The wall of atria is thin, whereas the 2 lower chamber is called as a ventricle. The right one is called as a right ventricle, and the left one is called as a left ventricle. And the wall of ventricle is thick compared to atria. Now all these 4 chambers are separated through a wall called as a septum. Okay. Now there is a valve called as a tricuspid. So where is the location of it? The tricuspid valve is located between the right atrium and right ventricle. What is the function of it? This tricuspid valve allows the deoxygenated blood, yes, it allows the deoxygenated blood from right atrium to right ventricle. Same, there is another valve called as a bicuspid valve. This bicuspid valve present between the left atrium and left ventricle. And what is the function of it? It allows the oxygenated blood from left atrium to left ventricle. Basically, the main functions of these two valves is this valve prevent the backflow of blood from ventricle to atria. Okay. Now, for understanding the flow of blood in a human heart, we can use this type of figure. It is just for our understanding only. Please don't draw this type of figure in an exam. It is just for our understanding only. Okay. Initially, all the four chambers are in a relaxed form. This relaxed form is called as a diastolic stage. During this time, the deoxygenated blood from the various parts of our body is entered in a right atrium through superior and inferior vena cava. Again, I am repeating this. From the various parts of our body, the deoxygenated blood is entered in a right atrium through a superior and inferior vena cava. At the same time, from the lungs, the oxygenated blood is entered in a left atria through pulmonary vein. At the same time, the oxygenated blood from where? From lungs. The oxygenated blood is entered in a left atrium through a pulmonary vein. Now, there is a contraction process is occur. So, due to the contraction process, it allows the open tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve. Here, this one is a tricuspid and this one is a bicuspid valve. So, here in this case, due to the contraction of right atrium, it allows the open tricuspid valve. So, from the right atrium, the deoxygenated blood is entered in right ventricle. Same, due to the contraction of left atrium, it opens the bicuspid valve. So, bicuspid valve allows the oxygenated blood from left atrium to left ventricle. Okay. Now, from the right ventricle, the deoxygenated blood now enter in lungs for purification process through pulmonary artery. From the right ventricle, the deoxygenated blood enter in lungs through a pulmonary artery. Actually, pulmonary artery is not present here, okay, but it is just for our understanding. The pulmonary artery from the right ventricle, the deoxygenated blood is now, with the help of this one, is a pulmonary valve, and from pulmonary, you can see here the pulmonary valve, from pulmonary valve to pulmonary artery, and from pulmonary artery to a lungs. Okay, so from the right ventricle, the deoxygenated blood is entered in lungs through a pulmonary artery. That same, from the left ventricle, the oxygenated blood, is now passes through various parts of our body through a aorta. Again, this is not actually the location of aorta, but it is just for our understanding only. From the left ventricle, the oxygenated blood is now passes through various parts of our body through this one. You can see here the aortic valve, from aortic valve to aorta, and from aorta to various parts of our body. Okay, so in this fashion, the blood is flow in a human heart. Okay, thank you.